Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Jane's Fighters Anthology as we continue with the reference materials. We're getting through the bomber section. We only have a couple more weeks left of that, and I think everything else will go pretty fast because there's not too many helicopters. And then I think once we get done with ships, well, there's still missiles, so I guess it'll be a little while yet. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So today we're going to start with the IL-76, Bereiv A-50 specialized version of IL-76, titled Bereiv A-50, NATO reporting name Mainstay, type 4 turbofan airborne early warning and control aircraft. Program development from Aleutian IL-76 transport began in the 1970s to replace Tu-126s of APVO. Production began early 1980s, service entry 1984. At least 5 operated in civilian markings, RA-76 4532 to 76456. Remainder being military, to operate around the clock over Black Sea during 1991 Gulf War, monitoring USAF flights from Turkey to Iraq and watching for possible stray U.S. cruise missiles heading for CIS territory. Continued development by Bereiv OKB. Design features derivative of IL-76 with conventionally located rotating saucer radome, diameter 9 meters or 29 feet 6 inches, lengthened fuselage forward of wings, flight refueling, nose probe, satellite navcom antenna above fuselage forward of wing, new IFF and comprehensive ECM. Normal nose glazing around navigator station replaced by non-transparent fairings, intake for avionics cooling at front of dorsal fin. No rear gun turret. Small aerodynamic surface on each outer landing gear fairing aft a wing trailing edge. Landing gear, hydraulically retractable tricycle type. Steerable nose unit has 2 pairs of wheels side by side with central oleo. Main gear on each side has 2 units in tandem, each unit with 4 wheels on single axis. Power plant for Aviad Vigital D30KP turbofans, each 117.7 kilonewtons or 26,455 pounds force, in individual underwing pods. Each pod on large forward inclined pylon and fitted with clamshell thrust reverser. Integral fuel tanks between spar of inner and outer wing panels. Total fuel capacity 109,480 liters or 28,922 US gallons or 24,083 imperial gallons. In-flight refueling difficult because of severe buffeting induced by rotating radome and tanker slipstream. Accommodation, normal crew of 15. Avionics considered capable of detecting and tracking aircraft and cruise missiles flying at low altitude over land and water, and of helping to direct fighter operations over combat areas as well as enhancing air surveillance and defense of CIS. Radar, weather radar nose, nav and ground mapping radar under nose. AWAC radar in rotating radome above fuselage. Flight, satellite navcom, and satellite data link to ground stations. Instrumentation, color CRT displays for radar observers. Self-defense, RWR, flare pack on each side of rear fuselage, wingtip countermeasures pod under development. Performance, normally operates on figure of 8 course at 10,000 meters or 33,000 feet with 54 nautical miles or 100 kilometer or 62 mile between centers of the 2 orbits. Length 46.59 meters, height 14.76 meters, wingspan 50 meters, max takeoff weight 170,000 kilograms, max wing load 566.7 kilograms per meter squared, max level speed 459 knots, maximum range 3,617 nautical miles, takeoff run 850 meters, landing run 450 meters. And here we can see the cockpit. That's a interesting little thing there. I suppose it must be for navigation, right? But either that or someone put their DSLR up on the dashboard to grab the crew. And here is the engine. And then photo album, we can see 2 photos, one in flight, one on the ground. So this must be where the ground radars are that they talked about that were under the nose. And we can see the 3D view. Okay, so they have the hump model for the ground surveillance radars. They don't have any humps or antenna for the SATCOM arrays, but they do have the radome modeled. And all in all, it's basically just as the Boeing 707 is to the E3, the IL-76 is to the A-50. And these actually gained some repute lately because Ukraine managed to shoot down a couple of these, which props to them. It's a good thing for Ukraine, not so good for Russia. Um, so, a few less of these in the world now. But, yeah, nothing really else to add to this other than the AWAC said it was replacing. They mentioned it was a Tupolev T something or other, 100 something. That one was obsolete when it entered service because it didn't have a look down, shoot down radar, uh, which basically lets you look down at targets and see them against ground clutter. Which at that point, I NATO for sure and probably Russia at that point too had both switched to low-level infiltration tactics, making a high-speed, low-altitude dash to deliver nukes as opposed to high-speed, high-altitude dashes. So basically, it became ineffective for seeing the thing it was supposed to see, and terrain following cruise missiles and stuff. So that's what led to the development of this. But they didn't have much money because, this came out in, the 80s, and then Russia went bankrupt in, 91, so they didn't make too many of these. I think even now, taking their losses into account, they have, 12 of these things, and they're working on modernizing it, but sanctions have hindered those efforts, thankfully. So that would be the A-50U. No, it might be A-50M. I forget the designation. Might have also be A-100. I have to check and see which ones are which, but yeah, that's all I really have. So with that, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next time, and stay safe out there. We'll see you then.